ways how the profile needs to be managed well, so that it comes to the notice of the companies who are constantly searching the database. Mr. Sachdeva would be sharing you with some statistics on this as well. But what we have observed from the back end as well as personal experiences, that's very important to manage your profile wherever you are. I mean, it be on a social media handle you operate, on Twitter or LinkedIn or any other social media platform, or on this data bank or any other possible platform or portal where you might be registered or you might be dealing with. It is very important to keep the profile live. It is very important to keep the profile updated. It is very important to I'm sure the friends from information technology industry understands the dynamics behind the search engine operations. So things work best when we use the right words, when we highlight. Of course, not much flexibility has been provided in the data bank because it's not a social media site. It is something which draws its evolution from the regulatory framework. Yet within that, and especially for the companies, by giving them an access and providing them power to choose what they exactly are looking for in terms of a professional who can be onboarded as an independent director. There are multiple parameters which you may not be knowing. So I was discussing with my team, why not we make those parameters also public, so that accordingly you take more conscious decision of drafting your profile or putting the right set of information at the right place, so that the possibilities and the probabilities of being visited by the companies during the searches enhances, which of course can make a significant difference in having our profile downloaded by them, or triggering them for initiating a contact or communication with you and seeking possibilities as to how well do you really fit in to the set level of profile they are really looking for in this. Another aspect which, going beyond this, I would like to mention, I'm sure you all are following various news and developments. So Companies Act is completing 10 years now in 2023, and you must be referring and reading that lot many companies, while following the provisions of sanctioning only 2 terms maximum of 5 years duration to a professional as an independent director, are on the lookout for new professionals, because for in not in some, rather in many cases, the limit has reached to exhaustion level in view of the provisions of SEBI and Companies Act. So that again gives us a greenfield sort of opportunity of managing profile well and enhancing our chances. Yes, I agree. Things depend upon, it's a demand and supply game. There are few friends who get angry on me as to why they are not getting their first chance. And I every time, console them, persuade them, try to motivate them that yes, it is a new initiative. With your support only, we can run for long and expect a change, which was there as a fundamental intent of this platform, that the day will come when this will be the only referral point for the companies to choose independent directors. Of course, I very much understand, no matter uh, no matter we have good appreciations of this fact that things take time to take off, to address to the fundamental objective with which it has been created. Yet we sometimes our patience create a sort of challenge. That is also in mind, to fix the things from our end, so that the probabilities could be enhanced. And as far as other efforts are concerned, you can see, I'm sure, I don't know, Ravinder ji has made that statistics or not. It would have been great if in the meantime, Nitin or somebody could work on this. So we can also show you in first financial year of the launch, how many companies were there, in second year how many were there. So what is the delta, like year on year delta of progression of companies who have joined our data bank? And especially in this in this year, not, I'm not talking about financial year, in this year means from January to May, in first 5 months, how many new companies we have added. Especially when you all know that there is no compulsion for the companies so far in the Companies Act that they have to choose professionals from the data bank, except for the reason that they need to have a person who has a registration with the data bank. So in within these limitations, regulatory limitations, still we are trying to extend our advocacy measures with the help of Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, and these two institutions are really kind in extending all possible support so that we reach out to the companies, persuade them, and make them aware. It's not about persuasion only, make them aware about the utility they are getting with from a platform which is owned by, purely owned by the government. Additionally, I am also working closely with the policy section of the ministry in escalating the voices, accumulation of voices which I receive for making suitable changes in the regulatory provisions so that more thrust could be put on companies to choose professionals from this data bank, and that's how we could justify our position also in front of you, and try to address to your expectations. I'm sure with all strengths and support from you all, me and my team would be able to deliver that. It's just a matter of time. I'm sure we are progressing in the right direction. And today's workshop is again intended to focus on this so that we fix the challenges from the supply side while we are working on the demand side. And that's how over a period of time we could get successful in mapping them both. So with this initial forward, I would like to welcome you all. I believe we have 300, touched 300 now. 900 plus interests came. So, and I would also like to welcome all my team members, and will hand over to Mr. Ravinder Sachdeva to take it forward. And I believe he will give you a live demo also. So as we go in the Power Talk series, you can note down your question or you can place it in the chat. And once the presentation and live demo is over, we can have those questions. I'm sure it will be a meaningful session for us all. So thank you so much. Over to you, Ravinder ji.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Gupta. Thanks for this introduction and setting the brief for this meeting. So I'm going to start this session with some statistics about the Independent Directors Data Bank. So as you can see my screen over here, I've shared it. We have about 34,000 registrations till date since the launch in December 2019. And of which women directors are about 6,500. And monthly average, we have not calculated monthly average as such, but we can see a trend that last month we had total registration around 615. And there is a breakup also, then how many plans individual choose here. So there are about 24,000 users who have selected 1 year plan, and they renew it every year. And there are about 5,650 users which have opted for 5 years plan, and then 4,000 odd users for lifetime plan as well. So these are some of the stats for you so that you can see what Dr. Gupta was referring, that we are evolving, we are increasing the visibility as well. Now coming to the corporate activities on the Independent Directors Data Bank, we have total registrations from the corporate side about 3,285. And together they have made about 10,000 plus searches using their different search criteria available within the portal. And till now they have collectively downloaded about 1,100 profiles till date. So these are paid profile downloads. They can view the profiles, but if they want to really contact the independent directors they are interested in, they will have to download the profiles of those directors. And for each profile, they have to pay a fee to the independent director Databank. So this stats is about the paid profile downloads till date that have happened. So it is on an increasing trend. We hope that more and more companies will join and they will be finding more suitable profiles from this data bank. Now over to the online proficiency self-assessment tests. These are some of the stats for that. So total number of tests that have been conducted till date is about 14,798. Last month only we had 361, number of attempts towards this self-assessment test. All in all, 12,000 plus users have passed this exam, and most of them, 90% of them, have been able to pass the exam within their first attempt. And till date, we have awarded exemptions to about 13,700 people. Those basically because of their directorship and KMP experiences. And with this new amendment allowing professionals to also opt for to avail this exemption. So for CAs, company secretaries, CMAs, and advocates, so we have awarded about 1,200 odd exemptions to them also. So today's session actually is one of the main agenda point for today's section is this also. That a lot of people are coming back to they're writing emails to us, they're calling us on a support desk also, and claiming that they should be exempted from passing this online self-assessment test. But we have noticed that they have not updated their profile accordingly to avail the assumption. It's a system-driven thing. If the system is not entered with the required data, the system will not be able to recognize or identify you as an exempted individual. So the main point of today's session is to educate people on how they can update their profile and avail exemptions, and probably keep their profiles updated also, so that corporates find their profiles updated and they are able to select using the search criteria available over there. Moving on to learning management activities on our portal, there are about 42 courses. There are two main categories, board essentials and board practice. So we have seen total number of completion for these courses around 1,73,213. So this is the number of courses, number of users who have completed courses over here. It's not number of users, it's like courses completion, that how many times the courses were completed by registered individuals. And last month only this figure was 4,007. So you can see people are engaging with learning management modules also. They are getting, and this get listed in their annual capacity building report as well, that how many courses they have completed, how many sessions they have attended, workshops, seminars. So everything is being recorded, and annual capacity building report is being shared with them and the companies they are reporting to. So there are other stats available for the number of engagements we have with our registered members. So all in all, we have conducted about 54 seminars till date. So you can say average, 1.5 every month. And we have we have a very healthy subscription for our monthly newsletter, The Hub, which is just released its 42nd edition. So it is also sent over the emails to all the registered members, and it is available on the website also. And we have issued about, started rolling out annual capacity building reports last year for the previous financial year. So we released about 53,961 reports for last year's data. And all in all, we have shared this report with the companies also, where these directors are positioned as directors or KMPs. So you can see it's a healthy number of reports that we have shared with them. And we have a dedicated support center available for ID Data Bank, which has resolved tickets, about 12,364 tickets they have resolved till date. All this data is concurrent data till calculated till today before the start of this meeting. Now, coming back to the main agenda point of this session, that is how to avail exemption from self-assessment test. So what I've done is I've put in all the conditions that are as per the rules published and gazetted notification. I've extracted those rules over here and marked them uh, the important conditions over here. So as you guys are aware that everybody who is registered with the data bank is supposed to pass the self-assessment test within 2 years from the date of his inclusion of his name in the data bank. So most of the time we have this query that people think that they have the requisite amount of experience with them, but they fail to miss this point which I have highlighted over here. Your experience of directorship, KMP, or professional experience is calculated till the date of your inclusion in the data bank, not with the current date as on today. So it is possible that you may have joined a directorship position somewhere in 2019. And if you calculate till today's date, you will say, I have 4 years of experience as a independent director in a particular company. But it is not calculated till today's date. It is calculated till date of your inclusion in the data bank. So if you have joined the data bank on 1st December 2019, and if maybe your directorship started at 1st January 2019, so you have about 11 months of experience. So first thing, this we wanted to clear it out. We have this thing listed on the website also at various places in FAQs as well, and with responses from support desk also has reached out to as many as people possible, that this experience of 3 years or 10 years for professional experience is calculated till the date of your inclusion in the data bank. So whatever is your original date of registration, that is the last point till your experience is calculated, and it is all automatically done by the system. So we have no human interaction, human intervention possible in the way system works. The system logic is already programmed, and whatever information is there, whatever logics is there, accordingly you get the exemption. So I wanted to highlight this point over there, this main condition for exemption. Rest of the conditions are as usual, that you either you are a director or a KMP in any of the listed companies or unlisted public company having a paid up share capital of more than 10 crores or more. Or the third thing is body corporate listed on any recognized stock exchange within the country or member state of FATF force. The another important point about exemption I wanted to make over here is that if you have experiences of, if you are a director in more than one company within the same period, only one of them will be calculated towards the exemptions. So if there is an overlapping experience that the person is a director in more than one company at the same time, only one will be calculated towards the exemption period. The second important point was this. Now coming back to the professional experience, which was allowed in the recent amendments in the rules, that if you have completed 10 years of professional practice in either of these streams, either you are an advocate in a court or practicing as a chartered accountant or practicing as a cost accountant or practice as a company secretary, you will get exemption. But again, this 10-year period will also be calculated till your date of inclusion in the data bank. So at this point, I will go back to the live demo wherein I will show you how you can, add your professional experience. Where is the information you need to mention for availing the exemption. So I'm moving to my profile in the data bank. This is the dummy profile that I have created. I hope everyone would be able to see my screen over here. So let me start from the home page. When you launch the website, this is the page you would see wherein all the information is placed. And you would log in. And for editing your profile, you have to go to this My Account menu on top right corner. You'll have to choose Profile. So your profile basically looks like this, which is divided into different sections. First one is your personal information. Second is your educational information. Third is your professional experience. Fourth is the positions. So on the professional tab, you would see some instructions placed in red text over here. This instruction is placed to help you out entering the right information in the data bank. So what we have written over here is that in order to get the exemption, you have to utilize the position sections of your profile. So I'm clicking over here. You would see the first section is as per MCA 21. So this is the information which is stored with the MCA 21 application for your directorship, for your KMP position, or for your designated partners in LLP firms. So this information is supplied by MCA and this is a non-editable information. This comes to the data bank at the time of your registration only, and this is not editable at all after you are become part of the ID data bank. We are working with MCAs to have a real-time synchronization between both these systems. Hopefully, in the next application version, we will have a synchronized data between MCA and ID data bank. But till now, we are not able to edit this once it is populated already. So this is the data which comes from MCA at the time of your registration with the ID data bank. This comes automatically in the background. Second section is the self-declared sections. This is the information you can fill yourself. You can enter the name of the company here, this company SIN, status of the company, position status of yours, whether it is ongoing position or finished position. And you can select the directorship position also, independent directors or associate director or whatever is executive director, whatever the position is. If it is an ongoing position, you can select appointment date and cessation date. Now you could see that I am not able to enter out any information here because this is my profile, which is already published and saved. Now, in order to edit this section, I will have to go back all the way to the down of this page and click on this button called Edit Profile. So I'm just repeating these steps for you. As soon as you log in, you will see this dashboard wherein your learning activities are placed, some links are placed, your registration certificate is also placed, and some information about the online self-assessment test also. As soon as you log in, you see this page, and from here you go to My Account, you go to Profile, then for entering your directorship positions or professional experience, you go to Positions tab. I'm clicking over here. There is some disclaimer. I have to say OK. Now I go all the way back down to this page and say Edit Profile. As soon as I click on Edit Profile, a notification will be sent on my mobile or an email that your profile is being edited right now. This is to restrict any unauthorized access to your profile. So in case you get this SMS and you have not initiated your editing, you can write to us or call us on your toll-free number that, I've got this message, but I have not initiated this action. So we will take an action accordingly. Now I am going to Positions tab. Now the self-declare section will be editable for me. So as you can see, I am able to write some company name out here, and this All these fields are required fields. So you will have to give company SIN. Otherwise, nature of industry will not be selected. And SIN has a limit of like you have to write in the correct format, whatever is the company's registration SIN you are allowed to see. And then you can select the company status, whether the company is still active or inactive. You can select whether your position with this company is finished or ongoing. If it is finished, you will be able to select only the start date. If it is ongoing, you will be able to select the start date, and ongoing cessation date will not be there. Then you can select your position, whether any of these designations belongs to you. So you can select the appropriate designation from this list and the nature of industry of this company. As soon as you are done editing your information, you will see that edit profile button has turned into save. There are two buttons, save and continuous. Save and continue means that you want to save the data entered or edited in this tab and move on to the next tab. So whatever information is not available from the MCA side, or whatever information is has got updated since the time you have registered in the data bank, you should update that same information in this self-declared section. Here I would like to make a point that all the information in your profile is basically on self-declared basis only. We do not hold any, liability for the information that you have entered. So whatever information you are disclosing out here, it is on self-declared basis only. If you have some discrepancies, it is up to you to explain to your prospective companies how this data was not correct, or whether there is an overlap or data entry error. So you will have to justify that yourself only. So for any directorship or KMP position which is not updated in the MCA section, you should update the same in this section, in self-declared section, and you can add as many as rows you want, like this. Click on the add new row button, and you can add as many as rows as you want as per your experience. And you can remove them also. All this will become active when you are in editing mode only. So you can see all these sections are there. So this one is self-declared section is for directorship positions. This is a self-declared section for KMP positions. KMPs are these designations only: manager, company secretary, CEO, and CFO. If there is a designation apart from this, then the system will not recognize that. So what you can do is you can mostly choose as manager. If it is a KMP designation, you can choose as manager. Then this is a space for entering your designated partners in LLP forms. You can add more rows and you can add more experience out here. Next section is directorship KMP positions held in listed body corporates. So this is a prefixed list. This was supplied to us by the MCA only, that they have selected few body corporates for which exemption is available. These are mostly nationalized banks. You can see there's all of these entities are banks. So if applicable, you can enter. If you have worked in any of these banks, you can also avail exemption because of that. Okay, mind you, these are listed body corporates. These banks should be listed on any of these stock exchanges, BSE, NSE, or both. Rest of the fields are similar: position type, designation, position status, again, finished or ongoing. That next section is directorship KMP positions held in listed body corporates, FATF member countries. So this is outside India, who are part of this financial task force. And this is an open field. So we are not sure which company which got listed. So this is an open field. You can enter anything out here. Obviously, you will enter appropriate names and numbers only. And these are the member countries. So you will enter the name of the entity, their corporate identification number, if applicable. SIN is only applicable in India. Maybe in other countries, there is some different identification number is available. If you want to enter, it's okay. If it's not available, you can leave this blank as well. So you will select the member country, regulator. You will enter the, like SEBI is the regulator in India. Similar regulators will be there in different countries. You will enter the name of the regulator over here. It's again an open field or based on the countries out here. Let me see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is based on the countries actually. So if you select Australia, you will in Australia the regulator is Australian Securities and Investment Commissions. Stock exchanges, and then again same position, designation, position status, and things like that. Next is directorship KMP positions held in body corporates incorporated outside of India. This is if you have foreign directors working with your companies and if they want to enter that experience over here, they should be able to enter those experience over here. So any foreign entities incorporated outside of India, they can enter the information over here and the system will recognize this towards their exemption. Next come is statutory corporates positions under Act of Parliament or state legislation. This is for organizations that have origin out of Act of Parliament or any state legislature. So you will have to enter, this is again an open field, you will have to name of the statutory corporation or entity, their corporate identification number if applicable. Then you will select whether it was through the Act of Parliament or through state legislators. And if there is a act name associated with, you will enter that also over here. Primary business should be commercial for availing exemption. If it is non-commercial, the system will not recognize this. And then you will select whether you held directorship position or KMP position in this entity. You will select your designation. So this designation will be against this position type you will select over here. If you have selected directors, you will see all the directors positions out here. If you have selected KMP, you will see open field level. And same position status and appointment date and cessation dates. Next section is for the government employees. These are administrative positions. So the rules allow that if you are on a pay scale which is equivalent to director or above, you should be able to get exemption provided your area of expertise lies within these categories listed out here: commerce, corporate, finance, industry, public enterprise, government company, or statutory corporation engaged in commercial activities. So here you would select director or equivalent or above level. This is based on pay scale. If the pay scale is below director level, then the system will not recognize this experience towards exemption. You'll have to select this only. You'll select your position: director, joint secretary, additional secretary, chief secretary, whatever is applicable. Then you will select the ministry department type. And then you will say whether it belongs to central government or state government. Then choose your area of expertise. You can choose as many as you want. And then the position status, whether it finished or ongoing. Now this is the section where most of the professional ways this. So this is the section where most of the professional experience should be entered out here. So this is an area of interest for all the advocates, chartered accountants, company secretaries, and CMAs. So we'll select your profession out here. Chartered accountant, so cost accountant or company secretary. let's say chartered accountant. Membership enrollment number, as per the certificate of practice, you would be issued. And date of issuance of member enrollment number. So I'll say number, I'm just putting a dummy number out here. And I'm selecting so I've entered my data, chartered accountant, certificate number, and date of start of the practice. Position status is ongoing. And now I'm going to save this. Or before that, I would show you my dashboard where my status for online assessment would be not exempted. So you can see the status. Online proficiency self-assessment test is mandatory for me. So this is as of now before editing and saving the information. Now I go back to the profile again. Positions. Edit profile. Again positions. I'm straight away going to the professional experience. This is section 9. And I'm selecting. I've input my data and now I'm saving the information. Sorry. So the system notified me that I've updated my data successfully. Now I'm going back to my dashboard to my account and I'm selecting dashboard. Now let's check the status out here. It says I'm exempted from passing online proficiency self-assessment test. So you can see this is system driven thing. I have not done anything manually out here. It all depends on the data I would enter in the system. And this data entry is on self declaration based only. We are not going to vet this data. And you will have to justify this to your prospective employer or company that how the data you have entered is verified or justified. So as soon as you get this exemption, you can download this exemption certificate. This section was not available earlier, exemption certificate. As soon as I got exempted, this certificate is automatically generated. So all your certificates are downloadable from this section only, like your registration certificate, this is downloadable. Your invoices are downloadable. Likewise, your exemption certificate, it stays within the system. So you don't need to request this through support desk that send me my support my certificates. All those certificates are perpetually placed in your dashboard only. You can download it from here anytime in PDF format. You click on download certificate and the certificate gets downloaded. This is how it looks. It's not required to pass the online proficiency self-assessment test. So I'm just quickly summarizing the steps that I have taken to update the profile. Just for people who were disconnected or could not catch up earlier because my screen was not zoomed properly, I'm showing it again. So as soon as you log in into your account, you will come to this dashboard wherein all your learning activities are there, your profiles, your certificates, everything is mentioned out here. From this page, you will go back to my account and select profile. You will go to any tab and select edit profile. And then you go back to positions tab to enter your directorship, KMP or professional practice experience. Here you can enter your professional experience, and if you have some managerial experience also, you can enter that also. This should be above Chief General Manager level. Designation, organizations. So these are pre-selected organizations. So rules have provisions for exemption for people working above Chief General Manager or above in these organizations: SEBI, RBI, RDAI, PFRDA, and if they are engaged in any of these areas of expertise: corporate law, securities, and economic law. So this is the place for entering CA, CAS, CMA, and advocate experience. And I'm again reiterating that the experience is calculated till the date of your inclusion in the data bank, not the current date. Okay. So as soon as you will enter the data over here, you will have to say save or save and continue to move to the next tab. After entering the data, there is a tab also here for reviewing whatever information is placed in your profile. You can click over here also to review all the data that you have entered. So this is the entire data. This is your personal details, educational, professional, and positions. So this is the tab relevant for exemption, not any other tab. So many times people enter their chartered accountancy experience in the professional tab and then say that, we are not getting the exemption because this is a different experience. The system calculates the exemption period on the basis of data entered in this tab only. Professional experience is for entering all your professional experience, your designations in various companies. So it is possible that you may not be a director to begin with, and you would like to enter all the other positions that you have served in the past. So this is the place for that only, or trainings or certifications that you have earned. So you should enter all that experience in the professional tab, but the data applicable for exemption should be placed in the positions tab only and nowhere else. Now I'm moving to the second option for editing the profile, how you can edit the profile in a different manner also. I'm going back to the dashboard. This is my dashboard, and you will see a link over here which says see your public profile. So this is like a LinkedIn feature wherein you would see how your profile looks like to outsiders. So there are two different views, how it looks to you and how it looks to the other people. Other people in this case are corporate users who would log in and view your profile. So this is how your profile looks to outside users, other than individual users. So you can see all your personal details are mentioned out here: DIN, PAN, gender, father's name, mobile number, email address, present address, permanent address. and the status of your online proficiency self-assessment test. It says exempted. We have just edited the profile. And you would see this pencil icon in front of all the fields out here. This pencils mean that this is editable. So this is statement of professional expertise. Right now it says I'm seeking an independent director's position in a reputed corporate. If you want to edit this, you just have to click on pencil icon and you can edit this. You just save it and it is edited. So you can see this is a much easier way of editing your profile. Plus you have controls on the left hand side for displaying or setting the display off for any of your personal information which you would like to hide from corporate users. So this is a master switch which says you don't want your profile to be public. So you can just switch off this. So any corporate logging into this system will not be able to see your profile, even if your particulars are matching with their search criteria, still your profile will not be listed in their search results. You can just switch it on back. So when you switch on this master switch, you get more additional switches down here. This is for your personal details. If you want to hide any of the personal details from the corporate users, you can switch off the information of from this simple switch only. Like you don't want your name to be displayed in the profile, the name is switched off. You can see there is no name is restricted by individual. You can switch in on back, you would see the name. You don't want your email to be shown. Right now my email is displayed. I say switch off and my email is restricted by individual. You can see this, how easy is this to handle your profile and edit your profile. You can edit your professional experience with in this view also. You can see this pencil icon. Wherever this pencil icon is available, it means it is editable. And wherever you don't see it, it means it is not editable. For example, the information coming from MCA 21 is not editable. There is no pencil icon out. But the professional practice experience is editable because I have this pencil icon. This means it is editable. You just have to click this and you can select in this format. So this is a form, a different view of the form. You can enter any of this experience. Or I can simply delete it also. So you can see I have deleted my professional practice experience from this profile. I'll go back to dashboard. Okay. So this is another way of editing your profile. This is much easier than the method shown earlier, but both are working in the same fashion. There is no difference. I hope everyone got the idea how a profile can be edited both the ways. So now I'm moving back to the second part of this session, which is so many a times we receive this query that how we can keep our profile updated so that corporates see our updated data. So there are some guidelines we have listed out for you. That first one is that you should keep your profile updated at all times. Means whenever there is a change in any of the information, be it your personal information, maybe the address or city location is changed, you should update that as soon as possible in your profile, because location is also a search criteria in for corporate users, and it's a main criteria. Sometimes they want to find out, well, how many independent directors are available within this particular location who can come and share their technical expertise with us also. So whenever there is a change in your particular educational, personal, professional, or directorship, self-declared, you should keep your profiles updated at all times. You should add professional practice expertise area updated. This is also one of the main search criterias. I'll show you how this can be done. I'll go back to the profile section. Now I'm going to the professional tab. The very first field in the professional tab is professional expertise. So you can add as many as professional expertise within this field. Right now it says consulting, corporate law. If you want to add more, you can just say edit profile. Go back to the professional tab and add as many as possible. If you have bureaucracy experience, business strategy, defense services, economics, engineer, information technology, investment banking, scientist, taxation, technology, venture capital. So this is a very important field for adding your professional expertise, and this is handy for corporate users when they are searching for suitable profiles. You should add your training, workshop attended in professional experience. Though this is not a field in corporate search parameters, but this gives them a complete view of your overall experience and exposures that you have gathered over your years of professional experience. Next is your educational details. It should be updated at all times, because this is again very first search criteria that is there in the corporate users account, that they select the highest education of the candidate first, then their professional expertise, then city or country. So likewise, they move on. So they get basic search, they get advanced search, and then they can refine their search also. I'll show you that also in some time. And you should always check your communication preference, how the prospective companies can reach out to you either through email, through phone. You should, like the switches I've shown you just now, at least your communication preference should be mentioned out there. If in case company wants to opt out to reach out to you on their own, your contact details should be visible to them. So, for example, if they have downloaded your profiles and some of the information, your contact information is not available, they will still be not be able to contact you and offer the positions on their board. So you should check that communication preference in the declaration tab here. So this is the section. Would you like your personal details to be displayed? Yes, no. When you say no, again, this is a replication of that master switch I just showed you. So you can switch off, switch on the same things. At the bare minimum, your email should be displayed to the corporate users for sure. And if you're okay, your mobile numbers too. And your directorship KMP information should be updated in the self-declared section under positions tab. We have already discussed that whatever experience you are claiming against the exemption, it should only be entered in the positions tab and nowhere else. I'm again reiterating because many times we have received these tickets and phone calls on our support desk that they have entered the professional experience or directorship experience. Still, the system is not recognized them for exemption. And we found out that they have entered all their experience in the professional tab instead of positions tab. So this thing, if you want to make correction, just do the correction right away in your profile. So now I'm moving on to the corporate search and how corporate search suitable profiles in this data bank. So these are for basic search parameters available to them. First is highest qualification. Second is the industry where they belong to. And these are industry categories as per the MCA list provided to us. Then current location and years of experience. So this years of experience comes from the professional tab and a professional positions tab both. And current location, this comes from the city that you have selected in your address, permanent address, current address. And this is industry experience you must have entered somewhere in the profile. And this highest qualification comes from the educational tab of your profile here. Doctorate, postgraduate, graduate diploma, undergraduate. So these are the basic search. Any user will select any of these, and then some additional parameters like these are advanced search. Then they can search any individual with the name of the company or the company SIN. If name is not clear to them, they can, if they have SIN number available of that company, they can search directors working in that company also. Professional expertise. This is the professional expertise we just edited in the professional tab. This area, consulting, corporate law, information technology, venture capitalists, and many more. And directorship position, this is basically the designation, additional director, executive director, or something else. KMP positions like manager, CEO, CFO. So these are some of the advanced features available to them. And once they have the result, they can refine the results using some additional parameters. They can select the range of years of experience. They can drag and drop minimum years of experience, maximum years of experience, degree, course name they have done, or institute name. Sometimes you want to look out for individuals who have passed out from a particular institute. You can enter the name of that institute and search basis that also. Sometimes you are looking for people who have some experience of working with statutory corporates. You can select the name of those corporates here and you can enter the name and then you can search the profiles. Sometimes you may, the corporate users may want to, have individuals with experience of administration in specific ministries. So there are four ministries allowed here: corporate affairs, finance, commerce and industries, heavy industries, and public enterprise. So if you want to look out for individuals who have worked in any of these ministries, you can search for them also. And these are managerial positions. These are again selected specific organizations: AB, RBI, RDI, PFRDA. So these are some of the additional parameters available to corporate users for refining the search results they would get from the first two search parameters, basic and advanced. And this is the complete list of all the parameters. The years of experience, city, state, qualification, name of the degree, course, institute name, state, city, where they have passed where this institute was situated. Then company name, SIN number, directorship position, KMP, industry, professional experience, and whether the individual is exempted from online proficiency self-assessment test or not. This is also a search criteria. They want to see search only profiles who have passed or exempted from self-assessment test, they can search that also. And then additional parameters like gender, nationality, whether they have been into civil services or not, whether they have overseas experience or not. This all is coming from the professional tab only here. Are you from government, civil services, central or state? And whether you have some overseas experience of working with organizations, global organizations. So you can see we have covered most of the possible data entry points in this profile, and we are constantly evaluating and discussing it with industry folks also, within the think tank also. And we have this open policy that, whenever we have recommendation, we pass on the competent authorities. And as soon as we get the approval, we keep on updating this features available within the data bank. So that's about it for the agenda, today's agenda. We have covered most of the things we have originally planned to. Dr. Gupta, if you want to see if there are any questions available which we can answer quickly, since we have already passed the time window.
Thank you, Sachdevaji, for brief yet very comprehensive presentation. I can see some hand raise. People are interested in asking question. Mm, can I invite, take up one by one? So there is engineer CS Joshi. Mr. Joshi, can you ask your question? Mr. Joshi? Mr. Santosh Shah? I think they are not here. Mr. Girish Kumar? Mr. Girish, would you like to ask a question? You have your hand raised.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions from my side. See, there is a requirement from our side, but not from companies as per IICA. And whatever experience we have, which will be recognized only when we have the demand from company side. But unfortunately, I am unable to see that demand, and I am already 7 months old, rather 8 months old in IICA, wherein I have completed but not getting any due recognition for the whatever qualification base I have and also experience I have. Is there any way it can be addressed in the coming months? So that's question one. I'll also ask the second question. The MCA 21 database is not getting updated, which I have been requesting to Mr. Dr. Neeraj from January. So which will actually help our marketability as well in the market. So these are my two questions. I'm highly grateful to you.
Okay. So I will address to them in the reverse order. The matter of real-time integration of MCA 21 data with the data bank data is already on my table, and I have long back moved a note to the ministry on this. In this connection, I would like to apprise you that MCA 21 is undergoing a sea level changes. Means very fundamental changes in the data architecture and its wireframe. I'm sure you must be visiting MCA site for last 6-7 months. So this project is on for last 1.5 years. We are migrating from version 2 to version 3. This integration is already as part of the plan under the roadmap for the version 3, and in coming few months this integration will happen, so this requirement will get addressed. We have in a very conscious way worked in the phased manner and addressed to the new services first while developing the MCA 21 third version, and now the agency which is handling MCA 21 is working on the services which were already existing. So, and that is probably the reason specifically those friends who are fairly new must have found some difficulty at the time of registration also on the MCA site, because the logins have to be created on version 2 and the registration gets through version 3. So this will get sorted, Girish ji. Then second thing, the first question which you asked about the number of opportunities, I very specifically mentioned in my initial remarks that as you understand, it is not IICA's version. We can refer to the Companies Act and the corresponding provisions, and there is no mandation from the government of India on the companies to choose strictly from the data bank. They can choose anybody who is registered with the data bank. So by visiting data bank, by not visiting data bank, directly contacting the person, that sort of enabling environment so far exists. I also want that there needs to be some guidelines where the companies get tempted to it. But so far, we have been utilizing it as an opportunity by making companies aware about the kind of services. And it is for this reason I was mentioning in my initial note that the number of companies are increasing and searches have moved, to a much higher level, which was there some 1 year back. So I see it as a positive sign. What I need is, a bit of patience on your part, and I'm sure the kind of the vision with which we have started, we will be achieving it, and you will find good change in terms of having more demand. One more thing I would like to add here for your consumption as well as consumption of other friends. Independent director positions are again, they cannot be compared like, software developer or a web developer, position, the kind of demand which exists in the market. It's a very coveted position requiring committed people and demanding quite a high level of skills. Moreover, there are out of about 15 lakh companies in India. Not every company is not required to appoint independent director. Above the defined threshold, only a set of companies, including all listed companies, are required to appoint independent director, and there is a certain term of 5 years. So, and in many cases, once the performance of independent director is reviewed as good or satisfactory, they are extended for another 5 years. Means if somebody is occupying a position in the board and gets appointed today as independent director, might block that position for another 10 years. So in that case, that position for the coming 10 years is not going to come to the market. So why I'm mentioning this is just indicative of a fact that the number of positions are not that much as the number of professionals available who are desirous offering their expertise and their levels of commitment and confidence to the companies. So that again is a reason I mentioned very specifically that there is a huge gap as far as the demand and supply is concerned, but we are trying to make efforts, all possible efforts. My entire team is on it for bridging this gap as much as possible, as fast as possible, because my vision, if you ask me, is to bridge this gap to the level that each one of the member we have should have at least one board position, if not in listed companies, in unlisted companies, if not in blue chip companies, then to a mid cap companies. Because once we are starting, it is good to have a position even in a mid cap or small cap company is good, because that is the first code to experiment our own skills and for our own learnings as to how can we evolve over a period of time. So I'm sure this is going to happen. I know I am subject to the anguish of many of the friends who are on the data bank, that we have spent 2 years, 1.5 years, we have spent this money. If this money has gone to the government, definitely government is going to deliver us something good. And on the way, we have multiple opportunities to network and to learn from various modes and measures we try to bring along. That is my answer. I hope this answers to your query, Girishji. I can see I'll have to take 2, 3 more friends on this. I can see Mr. Satish having a question. Satish ji, can you unmute yourself, please? Mr. M.K. Satish, you would like to ask a question, sir? Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah. Now you're able to hear me, sir?
Yeah, very much, sir.
See, basically, I wanted to just ask one question. Now I'm a corporate professional having around 40 years of experience. Though I could be exempted, I still took the test and I passed the test on 31st of May. I just wanted to know, since I'm very new to the session, I just wanted to know in the last 1 month, sir, how many companies have visited the independent directors data bank, and how many companies have actually selected independent directors from the data bank, because that will be very useful for people who have been now waiting for say 6 months, 1 year, and they have not got a call. So basically the purpose of creating this data bank should not be defeated at all. Companies should come forward and pick up more and more people from the data bank, right?
I
अभी क्या होता है
completely agree with you, sir. And
अभी
I
क्या
think
होता
it's like of endorsement to what Girish has also mentioned. I understand in terms of your expectations, and I completely underline your statement that companies must visit. But as you understand, when it comes to not just corporate governance, a number of compliances, we have such mindsets to, work upon those areas where we are asked to, do something. So
है?
in absence of any regulatory pressure on them, it is just two measures which comes to my mind. You can suggest a better innovative way. I am ready to work under your thought process, thought leadership. What comes to my mind is, one, to make companies aware about the utility and a huge group of accomplished professionals who are on board and ready to serve with high level of dedication and passion. So that is one thing which comes to my mind, and I mentioned, with the help of both of the stock exchanges and otherwise out of listed companies, with the help of ministries data, we are regularly sharing our service deck to them to make them aware about the utility. Second thing which comes to my mind is connecting individually with whomsoever I am connected or come across, and persuading by sharing that such kind of data bank exists where huge professionals are there and you should come and pick. For that matter, the numbers are increasing every month. We are adding 15 to 20 companies. Ravinder ji has mentioned about, as shown some statistics as well. As far as the number of directors who have been appointed through Databank is concerned, the last part of your question, we cannot comment on it because this is not a mandatory requirement for the companies to pick up from the Databank. That's why they look at the profiles, they download the profiles, they connect with the people, and they appoint them. Some of them they don't appoint or don't find as useful as their profile suggests, but they in turn do not give us a mail that they have appointed professionals out of the profiles they have downloaded. However, through my own mechanism, with my own network, and connect with the companies, a large number of companies who are there, our members, because we keep connecting with them. I personally speak with them. There are more than 450 directors who have so far been appointed from the data bank, close to 500 numbers, I can say. So it will take time. I already told you the demand and supply gap is huge. So it is a matter of time that things will evolve over. See, imagine before 2019, no such data bank was available. No such focus was there on the independent directors. Independent directors were learning, independent directors were trying at their own level. At least now we have a platform where we can voice our intentions, good intentions, that there needs to be a professionalism in the approach and means and ways selecting by the companies. However, with my personal experience, I have come to this fact. Still, executive search firms are playing a larger role, and the companies having deeper pockets don't take pains in using the parameters and searching from the data bank, rather assigning this work to the executive search firms basis their choices of criterias or professional skills or educational background exposure, and executive search firms work on their behalf. See, it is like outsourcing some services, and we are like we all almost, including myself, we all seek convenience. So they find some convenience by spending some 5, 7, or 10 lakhs of rupees, and that is that. So this glass ceiling we have to break. For that we are working, and I'm sure things will have the actions will have positive results. They are coming. They are coming. We are seeing sunlight. We are seeing good light of hope in terms of enhanced footfall in last 1 year. I'm sure it will multiply very fast. We can take up. I hope this answers your question, sir. We can take two more questions. Mr. Manoj George, can you please briefly ask your question, sir? And I expect like there should be something new. I mean, I think I have already this demand supply gap and my own efforts. I would not like to reiterate in a newer language or choosing some newer words, better words. I have shared my sentiments. So if there is something new, that will really be appreciable.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Neeraj, and thank you, Mr. Ravi. I won't take much of your time. Just wanted to ask you one question. Mr. Ravi had pointed out that when you take up the profile, you have this online proficiency self-assessment test as mandatory for some people, and they are required to take the proficiency test. Is that right, sir? If I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah, I have taken my online proficiency test and I have passed that. But unfortunately, the online that status is still showing mandatory. Is that the way it is, or because I saw on his screen that the screen changed from mandatory to not required or something like that. I saw that. That was question number one. Second thing, sir, you have discussed that, or many of the participants have discussed that companies have not started to voluntarily come to the data bank to choose directors. Given that situation, do you think, to start with, like, you rightly said, we need to start with a small cap or a mid cap. So do you think it is appropriate if we write directly to those people, to the board of directors about, our candidature? Do you think it will look low on us or bad on us from our part, seeking like our services to be offered? Would you think, in your opinion, will that sound or look very low on us? That was
Okay, I got your question. So first part of question, that you have qualified the test, yet your dashboard is reflecting that it is mandatory for you. I'm sure Ravinder will take it up and would like to check if you will help me. I'm sure you must be having your mail ID, otherwise you can note down. It is very simple: neeraj.gupta, niraj.gupta @gov.in. So if you will mention your registration number, I will pass it on to the team of Ravinder, and we will sort it out. I will not say this must not have happened. Might be some technical glitch, so we will sort it out, because there is a program, there is a algorithm on which the system works. So in some cases, because for the test we have a different agency and we get the backend feed through API, which updates the status in the profile. Sometimes if there is some bug, there could be a problem. So if you will kindly drop me a mail, and I apologize for this inconvenience. This should not happen, but definitely because we all the time try to make things more seamless as possible. Then second thing, you have asked about you have said which was not a question, your observation. So I can say that this is not the case that companies have been brought in by my force or institutional force or ministries force. Out of the companies who are registered with us, a large number of companies, I must say, more than half of the companies have voluntarily adopted this mechanism because they believe in the concept of best practices, and that's how they themselves have come. Nobody has attracted them, nobody has approached them, nobody has persuaded them. But for again for another bucket, definitely it is an outcome of the advocacy measures we are conducting. So I would like to submit that there are both sets of companies following best practices and better mechanisms, relying on government mechanisms for seeking services. Yet, as I'm sure you must have been having associations with the private sector, we have image when it comes to the question of service delivery, that private sector can deliver better than government sector or government portals. So this again I believe, because I interact with the companies, their compliance officers, NRC members. So they believe that government portals can't deliver them some good services well in time. Like if they are requesting something in the morning, they will get it by lunch, kind of thing. And the multinationals only are that proactive. Whereas I'm sure there might be some of the friends who can vouch for it. If they drop mail to me by same day end, you get a resolution for it. I myself even on Saturday Sunday push and forward the mails, read all the mails, forward it to the corresponding person who can resolve this issue. Because I believe in service charter, and all government departments and ministries have service charters to resolve things in minimum possible time. Of course, in some cases, at some levels, it doesn't happen matching with the expectation of the complainant or the user or the person who is desirous of services. So this is another part where I have placed my reflections on your observation. Third part of your question, now I believe approaching directly to because in some cases the friends request me that we should flag or advertise for the positions vacant in XYZ company. So here I would like to mention, we don't get that information in any case that the places are vacant and they are looking for some person. So that is our limitation. We cannot do it. Had there been any mechanism, I have even written to SEBI on this and ministry on this to have this sort of but for that you cannot have a portal, because it requires their consent also, whether we are advertising or not. Because once we will put it, they will get loads of CVs and it will become difficult for them. That's the reason you will not find this kind of practice in any of the jurisdictions globally. But of course, when it comes to the question of approaching the company, if you believe that you are the best fit for the position for a specific company, there is nothing bad, I believe, in developing a brief profile, may not be a 10-page CV. If in 1 page or maximum 2 page, we can capture the value we can bring to the table and the difference which we can make to the board, even if we don't know whether the position is available or not, we should drop our profile to the concerned company, but should avoid from a practice of spamming hundreds or thousands of companies by seeking some data from somewhere and mass mailing, so that like we do in in so many cases, like when I was young, we used to buy 2 bets in the melas, so that if I will throw 10 balls, 1 ball will get a hit, sort of thing. So we should not spam. We should in a very focused way try to find the right set of alignment based off on our own career of 2 decades or 3 decades or 4 decades, and then in a very focused manner can politely drop this thing. It is never a bad reflection, because ultimately what I believe, independent directorship is a service, is not an employment, because you don't get monthly salary, you just get sitting fees for the board meetings and the committee meetings, and in large number of cases the commission is not available, profit sharing is also not available. So I see you all as a civil servant. You are going to serve the civil society. So if you have an idea, if you have your own profile where you can contribute to the betterment of corporate governance of a specific company, definitely you should. Had I been in your place, I refuse independent directorship positions because I have a conflict of interest. But if I had been a part of group, definitely I would also have done the same, but in a very focused manner, 2, 4, 5 companies, not more than that, so that they recognize. And at the same time, I would like to add here, for the consumption of us all, we should try to engage with, because social media and digital media is a very stronger platform. So we should try to find something unique what we can contribute, and we should start writing something, or we should start speaking something, so that, because once we get noticed, the opportunities enhances. And I see a number of professionals have grabbed. I would not again like to quote the names. I have more than 50 examples, I must say. I've seen them over the last 7, 8 years, and they used to write, they used to speak, they used to join seminars and conferences, they used to network, and today they are sitting on 5, 6 boats, because that's how the things have come out of the locker to the marketplace. So this is also a marketplace sort of thing. Of course, the market price does not exist, because there are caps and regulations on the independent director sitting fees also. So we should try to create our own brand as an individual, using digital and social media, so that we get noticed. And for that matter, nobody stops us from, suppose I give you an example. If you are looking for 3 companies where you see you are a best fit and you can add value, and if you write a piece, very intellectual piece on something interesting, or you have a suggestion, you can tag them on the social media. Nobody stops you. So once you tag them, definitely some of their officials or senior officials would take note of what you are writing. They might like to speak to you, and that's how the doors of opportunities open over a period of time. So I hope this answers your question, Manoj. Thank you so much. I can take up one last question. I can see so many hands, which is indicative of your passion and love for this subject. But in interest of time, paucity of time, may not be able to take up all. I could not decide. Okay, I can see Mr. Srinivasan Sundarasanam. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. My sincere Apologies for that. Srinivasan Saab, can you please unmute yourself? Unmute, please. Unmute, please. I can't hear you still. Sir, please unmute yourself. Srinivasan Saab, please unmute yourself. Nobody can hear you. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. In the meantime, I can see Funny Prabhakar. Funny, if you can quickly throw the question, then I will come back to you, Srinivasan Saab. In the meantime, you can try to unmute.
Gupta ji, good evening, and it was a very enlightening session. And I want to acknowledge on the responsiveness IACA. It's absolutely good. I don't know whether you remember or not. I am also your student in that first batch of ESG professionals, and I had some challenges, and I have written to you. And I think IACA, after your reply, IACA has resolved my issue within 4 hours. So I fully acknowledge with your statement that on the responsiveness. Now my question on this specific issue is that, sir, there have been a lot of webinars and LinkedIn posts and YouTube webinars, seminars happening on being trained for an independent director position, and they are also assuring on the placements. However, they are charging whooping charge, and they are saying the certificate would be issued by IACA independent directors as the same certificate what we have all received. So I just wanted to know whether this is under the guidance of IACA or
No,
they
no,
have nothing. IACA has nothing to do with them.
Prabhakar,
Yeah.
thank you for your kind words in appreciation, and that is I personally look after and drive that this sort of commitment exists in our entire team, and I'm lucky to have a very good team who is very responsive. So this is first part. Second, you have asked a very relevant question today, and at least the 200 people who are here can spread up this message. This website which you are referring, the institution which you are referring, have two sites through which they are trying to dupe professionals who are desirous of getting the independent director position as fast as possible. And they are not just going to this extent by duping or charging high fees. They are also assuring a directorship position which they can never offer. So this is completely a scam. It is in our knowledge, and we have initiated action against them for using any platform. They are free to develop any product. Let the market mechanism decide. I'm sure the wisdom of you all is going to filter out the truth from falseful claims. And but what best we can use is not allowing them to use the name of the ministry or name of ISCA, because we have no connect. And you see the impact of this. The impact of our platform has again motivated people to do this thing and encash this opportunity. So one point which I would like to mention: number one, we should not fall prey to such mischievous people or institutions or platforms for satiating our desires to be on the board. And secondly, I'm going a bit forward, taking clue from your question. We should again you need to be very, very conscious. Even if some offer comes from some company, it is very good on our part to pay due diligence about the background of the company, the present work of the company, the the track record of the founders, co-founders, and the key managerial players, because that way we will try to stay away even before the accident happens. Because if we become part of, because there are companies who have bad intentions, and that way they again try to fish for people, not with an intent to extract some value from them, but to have them as part of signatories so that they let do whatever they want to do, and ultimately will leave you in soup and trouble. That is the thing which we should do. So number one, we should stay away from all such platforms making false claims, and should not consider they have an association with us. We are taking steps on it. Second, even if an offer comes, you should be very diligent before accepting the offer. You take your own time, you take a week's time to say yes or no, and in the meantime you use digital means like Google, and अभी तो chat GPT भी है आपके पास में, so you can try to find out. See, if company has cases on some taxation or GST, this is a normal course of business which happens, because many a times it's not the company which is wrong. Sometimes we get a monthly electricity bill of 5 lakhs of rupees because of the mistake of the electricity board, and we might go to the court, or the electricity board in turn might go to the court. So that is a normal course of business. But if there are some investigations, or there had been some history of some financial misappropriations or some other bad deeds, definitely you should stay away from that company and say no for the independent directorship position, because your intent is to offer the services, not to invite trouble by way of accepting any position which any XYZ company not having a good track record. And we should again not forget that India is a country which is dominated by founder-led businesses. So we should vouch for the integrity of the partner. We should vouch for the true intent and true vision of the founders before accepting any such position. So I hope I answer your question.
Yes.
So Sundareshan Saab, I am again coming back to you with as a last question. If you can unmute and please ask your question, because you could not ask that point in time. Again, it is on mute, sir. We are not able to hear you, sir. We are not able to hear you. Please unmute yourself. You can type your question, sir. I believe there is some problem in microphone or computer that I'm not able to hear you, and I don't want to lose your question. So if you can ask your question in one line in the chat box, I will read it. You need to click on the unmute button. You have answered. Okay, Srinivasan Saab has, what about IOD as an organization for ID Databank? Okay, so see, it's not about IOD. There are, Srinivasan Saab has asked this question, so I'm answering it, friends. So he has asked about IOD. There are many institutions in the country, not just IOD, who are engaged, who are committed to good corporate governance practices and are engaged in the ecosystem with the companies and with the directors by way of certifications or capacity building or training programs. So what I mean to say is there is nothing bad in having association with all those institutions which are working with a good track record and who are offering services with a good intent and good purpose. Of course, the price point may differ, and that will be your consideration to choose whether you subscribe to their services or you do not subscribe to their services, either a training program or certification. But to the extent of my knowledge, all those good institutions with good track record are not making false claims of arranging a directorship position in next 3 months or next 6 months. So my point was, we need to keep a distance from the institutions who have just mushroomed offering such positions at a higher prices by way of giving some certifications and making false claims of having association with ministry or SEBI or IICA. That was my point. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, so friends, this is a time to close. I can see there are so many questions. You all have my mail IDs. Still, you can ask questions. Those who I could not accommodate because of paucity of time can still reach out, and I would love to answer over the mail. If any one of you wants to speak, you can drop me a mail. We can fix up a time and we can speak. Converse also if you have a specific point. I love interacting all the time, right from morning till evening. I offer myself to the best I can. The My mail ID Ashish has just typed in the chat box. It's very simple. Neeraj, Niraj. I spell it niraj.gupta@gov.in, and you can reach out to me with your query, with your question, with any of your requirement where you believe I can assist you with. I and my team will be very, very happy to provide all necessary assistances, and presence of you all is much appreciated. This is indicative of your passion for the subject, your commitment for the service you want to offer, and also your love for us, for the data bank, for the institutions. And we'll be meeting soon. The webinars we had been doing, we are coming up with a new phase of it, because we have run it for about 3 years, and now it is a time to bring out some changes so that you find it much more value addition oriented. So soon you will find an announcement on it. So have a great evening. Thank you so much for your participation, and look forward for our next notification for another program in this series. And I would like to thank Ravindra Sachdeva, his team, Ashish, and all my teammates for supporting us on this. Thank you so much.